Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stone Zone, the place where I blabber about Japanese cartoons. So as we all know, Dr. Stone is notorious for having bland characters that receive no development throughout the series. Tropey characters are nothing new in recent shonen anime and manga. You have the pussy in the team who goes around crying like a little bitch everywhere, but when in a stressful situation, mans up and fights. That one guy screaming his ass off and has way too much energy. The calm and collected guy who lifts his glasses up every time he says something obvious, etc, etc. I could literally go on all day. But when there is something shitty, like the characters or the plot, something not so shitty covers up the shitty thing, therefore making it popular. For Demon Slayer, the beautifully creative and masterful animation fixes up the generic good guy whoop bad guy's ass plot and plain characters, therefore making it not so boring. But on the other hand, Mushoku Tensei has a generic isekai plot. But what makes it different from other isekai is the well-written characters. Attack on Titan made Mikasa look like a guy. That's about the biggest flaw I can think of. What I'm trying to say is that most shows have at least one big flaw, but another thing makes up for it. Attack on Titan being one of the few exceptions, of course. For Dr. Stone, the characters are shitty, but the amazing plot covers that up. Comment down below one unpopular opinion of yours on not only Dr. Stone, but any other anime. With that, let's get right into the video. Oh, and this week's fact is that the word sets has 430 different meanings, and now you pay up for the fact by subscribing. That's how it goes, So I view characters in a pretty weird way by associating them with colors. Taiju, for example, is one single color, because his personality can be described in one word: energetic. Despite the fact that this can be boring as fuck, sometimes it can prove to be useful to have characters whom you can accurately set your finger on. Taiju is an extremely transparent and bland character, which again isn't necessarily a bad thing because it keeps things so simple. He doesn't have layers to his personality, which means that Genagaki won't have to focus on character development arcs and instead focus on the story. By the way, right now I'm talking anime only because I know he gets some pretty emotional panels in the manga, but I don't want to get in the manga due to the fact that this channel is mostly based around anime. Speaking of character development though, there is a lot of it in Dr. Stone. The entirety of Ishigami Village went through some character development actually. They went from not trusting Senku and his sorcery to trusting it and helping Senku, which is huge. I said that I associated Taiju as a single and plain color, but what about the characters who have more than one quote-unquote color? The biggest example would be Senku. At the start, Senku was just smart and cunning boy, and his original intentions were to use the people of Ishigami Village to 1. Beat the Tsukasa Empire, and 2, which is the biggest reason, and that is to go to space. And we then realize that Senku is not a selfish, badass demon lord, which we all assumed because of his red eyes, right? I can't be the only one who thought that. Come on, right? Huh? But then again, he's a shonen MC, and most shonen MCs are all good guys, unfortunately. But I view Senku as a pretty colorful character. He's cunning, but not like evil cunning. He's extremely narcissistic, but with the brains to back it up. Great at hiding his kindness, has his fair share of weaknesses, and has changed throughout the series, even though it's extremely subtle. Another character whom I find colorful is Gen. Now, just like the other characters in Dr. Stone, he also has a single-layered personality that never changes, but that single trope is so fun, you almost don't need any development. Seeing Gen mess with others' brains is just hilarious and fun to watch, so development isn't even necessary to make him a good character, and this goes for other characters like Ryusui, who also has a very bland personality that never receives development, but is still fun. Another character I find extremely amusing is Tsukasa. He seems like a normal villain on the outside, but his ideals are really amusing if you dig deep into it. I highly recommend you read the second light novel called Speak Towards the Future, where Gen has a mind battle against Tsukasa pre-petrification. Now, despite all of the character tropes, I never find myself getting annoyed by the repeated jokes and actions, with one exception: Kinro. I don't hate him by any means, but he's just such a boring character in my opinion. Like the others though, he's a great character the more you learn about him. For example, even though he's extremely strict and straight-minded, he trusted Senku and let him inside the village because Senku, little by little, showed that there are unwritten rules in this world and trust isn't only formed through following rules. Even though he's undergone insane character development, he is still a boring character who consists of one plain color. But when all is said and done, the fact that most Dr. Stone characters are bland and tropey as fuck doesn't change. But the thing is, it doesn't need to. In my honest opinion, complicated characters would ruin the simplicity and, more importantly, the vibe of this anime, being mindless fun. Who needs character development when those characters make you laugh your ass off or change the way you view things in life? Every show has its flaws, and that's what makes it beautiful.